Hi, this is Tracy from Tracy's Easy Eats. Today I'm going to show you how I cook quinoa in my Instant Pot. Here's the quinoa that I'm going to be using. This is a Kirkland brand. It's from Costco. I also have another one that I've used. I like organic if I can get it, and so this one is organic from Walmart. Great value brand. So I do 1 cup of quinoa. I'm going to scoop it out here. This is a half a cup. And it's important to get the measurements right because when you add the water, it's a really careful balance between the water and the quinoa. Quinoa, from what I've found, is important to rinse it because it has saponins on the outside that can be bitter and can be hard to digest. There may be some brands that are pre-washed, but I don't know which ones are and which ones aren't. So I always like to rinse mine out, and then it's not going to be bitter and it's going to have a really nice flavor. I have this device that I use for rinsing. Let me first get my 2 half cups, so 1 cup of quinoa. I think that's good. This is a device that I just happen to have that works so well for rinsing small grains. The problem with most methods of, most things that you might want to rinse a grain in, quinoa is so tiny that it can fall through holes really easily. I was looking for this and I was having trouble finding it, so I found this strainer, and then I remembered why I don't use it. Yes, the holes are really small, but it has, this particular one has this lip, and so the little grains are going to get caught under here, and I don't like to waste them, and I don't like to have to clean them out of here. I'm sure that they make these that don't have this lip between the metal part and the wire part, and that would be a lot better to use. But I want to show you this thing that I have that I really like. This came as a, what is it? A nut. I was trying to make nut milks, and I was going to use this for the nut milks. It comes like this. Yeah, and so you put the, I don't know, there's a whole process, and then you use this to kind of get the milk out of the ground nuts, okay? But I don't use it for that. I use it for 2 things. I don't use this, I store stuff in it. This I use for washing my grains because it works so well. It also comes with this brush. And at some point I got tired of throwing away sponges that I was using to wash dishes, and I decided to try using this instead. And so over time it's developed that now I use this brush and this soap from Whole Foods, this fragrance-free 365 hand soap, which you can refill. I use these to wash dishes, and it works so well for me, and I love it. And then I don't have to worry about throwing out sponges and wasting and getting them all full of bacteria and stuff. So that's what I use this for. I'll put a link. When I bought it, it was like a $20 thing, but I get so much use out of these 2 pieces, and maybe someday I'll find a use for this one. Anyway, so I'm going to use this and show you how I rinse out the quinoa with this thing. You notice that the bottom is flat, and I think that helps. I'm going to fill this up. I'm going to try to keep the water level high for as long as I can, because I think it does a better job of getting all the little grains. I'm filling it up here. I'm going to use this awesome spatula to make a kind of a water feature within the container, keeping that water level high so that it can get to all the grains fairly equally, and eventually it's going to go down and it's not going to be high anymore. If you rinse it for about a minute, it will be great. I think it uses a lot of water, so sometimes I don't like to rinse it that long because I don't like wasting. But I also don't like bitter quinoa with saponins that make it hard to digest, so I don't know. Maybe someday I'll find a better way to do this, but for now this has been working really, really well for me, at least from the culinary perspective. Maybe not from the ecological perspective, but it works. So it's just about done. I'm trying to get all of them rinsed. That's pretty good. I'm going to shake it out a little bit, put my inner pot from my Instant Pot in here, dump it over here, give it a little pat to loosen up the grains. Usually I would take this away from the sink and do it, but since the camera is focused on the sink, I'm doing it here. This is annoying to try to work around, So I'm sure you won't have that problem because you won't be doing it in the bathroom sink. You'll probably be doing it in the kitchen sink. Now I can use this awesome, cute little silicone spatula. I'll try to find a link to one similar on Amazon. I got this at the store. And that way I can get all these little grains out, and there's no area where these are going to stick. It's the way that this contraption is made, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, what do you call this? A sieve or a strainer. The way that it's made, the grains don't get caught in there very easily. You may have something in your kitchen that you can use for this, but when I first started making quinoa, I was confused as to what to do. Now I have done a technique where it's kind of like, if you've ever washed rice, the way that the Asian way of washing rice, where you put the rice underwater and you use your fingers to loosen the starch, and then you pour the water off. I've tried that with quinoa, and you can do it, but you end up losing some of these little grains because some of them float and then they come out with the water. So that's frustrating to someone like me who doesn't like wasting. So this is my favorite way of rinsing the quinoa. Notice how that it didn't really leave hardly any grains in here of the quinoa. So that was 1 cup. I know I used 2 of these. These are half. This is a half cup. So that was 1 cup of quinoa. And now I'm going to add 1 cup of water. I'm going to try to get it really accurate, because if I use too little water, then the quinoa might be a little bit dry. Too much water and it might be kind of, I don't even know what that texture is called. So there's a little bit of water in here. That actually works just fine. That actually ends up being a good amount. I think I got a little over. Okay, so let me do a little less on this one. I think this is going to work. I think this is about a cup or a little over a cup of water. I like to kind of get the quinoa, make sure it's all in there. Then the water will wash it off my fingers, so no waste here. I'm going to go to the kitchen and show you how I cook this in my Instant Pot. So I'm back in the kitchen with my Instant Pot. The model that I have I got from Costco a while back. It's called, I think, the Nova Plus or something. It's really similar to the Duo. It's the Costco model of the Duo Plus, I think. And this is a 6-quart Instant Pot. This is the only one I've used it with, so I don't know how well it would work with other sizes. But most people, I think, more likely have the 6-quart. So I've got the quinoa, the 1 cup of quinoa in here with the 1 cup of water. I want to make sure that the bottom is dry. So usually, grab a dish rag. I get in the habit of drying the bottom because it said in the instructions that the bottom needs to be dry, so it's dry. And then quinoa is really quick and easy to cook in the Instant Pot as far as grains go. So I'm going to put it in here. And with this model, I don't know if this is true for all models, but the lid is this fantastic feature. It sits right here in this, there's a protuberance on the lid that sits in this groove. I love that. My mom always has trouble figuring out how to put the lid on, and I'm not really sure how to explain it. But there's a place where it fits, where the back part just kind of fits into a slot, and then you turn it so that this back part is on the other side of the slot, and that's what secures the lid. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn it to my right, this way, or anyway, this way, and that is going to secure it. I'm going to also make sure that this venting valve is not facing you, that it's facing more backwards towards me, or actually backwards to the side. Because if it's kind of up or facing you, then it's not going to lock the steam in. But if it's down and like at this angle, then it keeps the steam in once it starts to pressurize. So then the timing for this is going to be 1 minute on high pressure. And so that's it. So that's really great. It's quick. So coming around here, I'm going to press pressure cook. I'm going to make sure that my pressure level, see this pressure level button, is high. So it toggles between pressure low and pressure high. So it's on high. This more that it says here, I used to get so confused by that. Actually, let me cancel so it doesn't start going. It said more there. That's only if you're doing a manual setting called saute, which I'll talk about in other videos. Don't worry about more. Just worry about low and high when it comes to the pressure cooking. Let's do this again. So I pressed cancel so it wouldn't just start. So I'm going to press pressure cook, Now I have a little bit of time to choose what I want. To choose pressure level high. I only want 1 minute, so here's the plus and minus for the minutes. I'm going to get it down to a minute. So it's pressure high, 1 minute. And then if I just wait, you see that P? That means it's set to pressurize whenever it gets a chance to do that. So it's going to heat up and then it's going to pressurize. And that beeping sound means, okay, it's going to start the heating process. It's accepting the settings that I put in there as what it's going to use. If I felt like I messed up, I could always press the cancel button. It would just stop whatever it's doing. And if it was already pressurized, it would start to depressurize because it wouldn't be holding that pressure. But right now it's not pressurized. It's just going to heat up. It's going to hold pressure for about a minute after it pressurizes, and then it's just going to, I guess, stop. So that's how I make quinoa in the Instant Pot. When it's done, I'm going to take it out using my spatula into a bowl. Actually, let me show you that. So we're back with the Instant Pot having completed its cycle. I've just walked away and let it do its thing, and so some time has passed. You can see how much time has passed since it completed that cycle, that cooking cycle, because it says 27 minutes here. And then you can tell that the cooking cycle is over because there's no symbols other than this keep warm little light bulby thing on there. So it's keeping the quinoa warm, and it's allowing the quinoa to kind of absorb any extra water that's in there. The little pressurization, gee, I should probably learn my terminology. The little silver thingy that goes up and down to tell you if it's pressurized is up, which means that the machine is acting like it's pressurized. I know it's not pressurized because 27 minutes have elapsed and there wasn't very much water in here to pressurize to begin with. But what it means is that I have to kind of push down on the button. Now you never want to use your hands for this kind of thing. If it were still pressurized and I would like to release the steam, you could use something like this, oh, is it a spatula thing or a wooden spoon, and I would come away from the Instant Pot, probably like in front of it, and yeah, so there wasn't any pressurization. The metal thing in back just had to go down. But that's how I would get the pressure out, is I'd be in front of the Instant Pot and I would lift this thing a little bit until the steam released and the pressure came out. So I'm going to take the lid off the Instant Pot by turning it this way, lifting it up, and I like to kind of shake the water into the pot. Sometimes I'll put a towel down here to catch any liquid that comes off of this lid. I'm going to put it in the handy dandy lid holder, and let me get a towel to get this out because it's hot. I like to use towels as pot holders because it's like flexible and I can get around the pot that way. So I'm going to take it out. And this is the first video I've ever done that's really like a cooking show where I have all this equipment I have to maneuver. So this is an experiment for me. And I have something under my bowl that I'm going to put it in to keep the bowl from slipping. Once again, I'm going to use this towel to hold it. It is hot. And I'm going to use my great, awesome little spatula, silicone spatula, pushing the kernels. You're not going to get to see it. I'm going to push the kernels down so that they all kind of come out together. And I can come around the sides and stuff and get them, and then get them into the bowl. And then I have some nice, delicious, here I'll show you I'm trying to take up too much of your time, but I have nice, perfectly cooked, fluffy, lovely quinoa. So I hope that this has inspired you to cook quinoa in your Instant Pot. It really is one of the easiest grains to cook in an Instant Pot. I love how it comes out perfect every time when you try this method. Please let me know how it goes for you by commenting on the video. Subscribe to my channel. I'll continue to post more content like this, and you'll get to see that content. Press the notification icon to get notified of new videos, and share with your friends. And until next time, keep it easy.